witnessed, least studied and still less understood. We don't talk about remedies at all. Do you have a remedy after so many riots that you are talking about, 250 riots? Do you have a blueprint of action that to prevent riots or to sort of say that the riots do not occur in future? These are the lessons learned, and therefore the country should go in this direction, and this is what needs to be done. Every time we have a riot, somewhere somebody has failed. Either the passions were
so I just want to clarify. We're not of course here to give lessons on what should be done. That's of course for policy makers and other people to do. We are just asking the question of is SIT, which is being demanded right now in another case, they're citing because Gujarat riots is the one which got SIT. Is SIT the answer? That's all we are asking. So I'm just asking you, since the Akalis have cited your case, how do you respond to the fact that they're citing the instance of Gujarat where SITs have delivered justice? How do you respond to that? That's it. That's all I'm asking.
See, the issue is this: the issue is not delivering a penicillin injection when there is a disease. The issue is, why don't you have a system? Why have you to have SITs, and how many SITs you will have, and how many times you will have the SIT? Sooner the SIT will also become irrelevant. There will be accusations. There are already some voices which are today pointing fingers towards when SITs functions. So how many SITs you are going to have? Why the country doesn't have a system which takes care of itself and which assures that any individual, any citizen in this country is assured the safety and security?
Okay.
Why don't you have a system?
Okay.
How many SITs you are going to have?
Fine. That's a point that you've made. Dr. Radha Kumar, as someone, I was just reading Amitabh Ghosh's piece, his piece of his experience, what happened, and he mentions you and all the other people who got together, all the other activists who got together as part of a citizens forum, and that you brought out a report as well of what happened and who's guilty. Now, as someone who was there, who helped, who was part of the healing process as well afterwards, how must it feel to know that so many years later, not many have been held accountable?
Well, to tell you the truth, we were all outraged at the fact that there were no proper investigations, that there was no attempt made to deliver justice to certainly what was the most horrendous experience of my life, and shattered my faith, to tell you the truth, in the constitutional structure and practice of our country. I would agree with Javed that all those who have fought for the past 28 years to get recognition of what happened then, and then to talk about the need for justice, are people we have to salute. I would even go further. I would say that the various groups, both in the courts and amongst citizens, who kept the memory alive, are those who are partly responsible for the kind of change that we saw occurring post-2002, when the Supreme Court did step in a way in which neither the courts nor anyone else stepped in earlier. But if there's one lesson to be learned from this, I would say we really need to ask our political parties very, very seriously that how is it that they are able to condone such terrible events which are related partly to their own politics and their own actions and behavior. When are we going to see that process of reform within the political parties? It is, after all, really a tragedy that the Supreme Court had to step in to start getting justice for the victims of the Gujarat carnage. And that too, that process has started 10 years after. It's a terrible, terrible indictment of our polity and of our governments. And it seems to me that we do have to talk about serious policy prescriptions, that when such things happen, somebody must pay. Those who are responsible must pay, not only in terms of justice, but in terms of giving back, atoning for what you have done.
Yes.
And we don't see that spirit of atonement anywhere.
Well,
And
you know, I would have loved to put your question on this politicization that we've seen and the kind of politics that people play with the riots to the Congress, but unfortunately no one from the Congress was willing to participate in this debate today. But Javed, I'd just like to throw that to you as well. Do you think that part of the problem has been that everyone kind of clubs 84 and 2002 together, and both the Congress and the BJP and all the other political parties just use it for their political convenience to make a political point against each other?
Quite clearly so. I mean, the Congress must explain why there has not been justice in 1984 for the massacre of the Sikhs, for the victim survivors. There is no question that the Congress must account for that just as much as the BJP must account for what happened in Gujarat 2002 and how they've been trying to derail the justice process ever since. And I think the question that I quite agree with, entirely agree with Radha, what she was saying is that in terms of long-term solutions, what we need is what activists like us and many other groups and religious minorities have been arguing for is a communal violence prevention and punishment bill, where there is the notion of the chain of command responsibility. So when a riot is not contained, we are not talking about riots, I'm sorry, we are talking about carnages and pogroms and genocidal killings. When they are not contained within 24 hours or whatever it is not just a sub-inspector of police or a police constable in a street, but the police commissioner and the home minister and the DGP of the state are held accountable and are made to pay for it.
Okay, but that's perhaps in the long run of having, you know, changing laws.
Well, I would go a little further than that, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would not talk about a new bill. I would talk about the need, for example, for other political parties.
Okay, we'll just fix Radha Kumar's audio over there, but
guilty of such carnage. I would say the parties have to pay compensation themselves, not the citizens.
Okay, that's an idea, but Naresh Gujral,
you have to create a new political culture. We should not vote for parties that engage in carnage or violence or breaking the law.
You know, I was going to ask Naresh Gujral as well, but Mr. Futka,
ultimately this boils down to the fact that you must have the lessons learned and the remedies which will prevent riots. You know, prevention is better than cure is the theory that would hold good here. We have not learnt any lessons out of 250 riots, and we are taking bits and pieces and discussing issues. Rather than that, we should have a policy which itself will be such that it will prevent recurrence of these kind of incidences.
Okay, and Mr. Naresh Gujral, actually Mr. Jayanarayan Vyas completely disses and completely rejects the theory that SIT helps. How would you respond to him?
Well, I don't agree, because if SITs did not help, then 800 people would not have been convicted in Gujarat.
No, let me clarify. I'm sorry for interruption. Let me clarify. I am not saying SIT doesn't help. I am saying how many times you are going to have SITs. A penicillin injection given time and again will turn the patient immune. That's the point I was trying to make. I don't say SIT has not done its job. It's doing its job.
Okay. Mr. Naresh Gujral, so how will you get this SIT set up?
No, however, it will be with the help of media. Today, if Gujarat has received the attention that it deserved, I would say that it's thanks to the media, and especially the electronics media. Unfortunately, when the 1984 carnage took place, the electronic media was not so strong. In fact, that is one of the reasons why we did not get enough support. I said in Parliament, Gujarat and what happened in 84 are two sides of the same coin. We want justice to be given in both cases, and I think there's only one way. We have to hunt down every single culprit, whether it was in Gujarat or those responsible for the 84 riots, and give them exemplary punishment. Only then can you stop riots in the future.
Okay, and you know,
for that an SIT is absolutely necessary.
Okay, Mr. KTS, yeah.
If I may point it out, the demand of the SIT is not initiated by the Akali Dal. They have, I think, only adopted it. This demand was initiated by the legal remedies. A letter is written by Justice Krishna to the Prime Minister, which is written about 3 weeks back.
Okay.
And that is supported by Falina Rehman. Shanti Bhushan, Justice Sachar, and the people like Kuldeep